if you think we've all gone a bit potty this afternoon, you're absolutely right. There are 1,224 pots here altogether, and every single one of them has helped our great Blue Peter bring 'em by sale appeal. They're the result of a 24-hour sponsored pot throw that took place at Rodway School near Bristol last Friday and Saturday. And Brian Weaver, who's the master in charge of the art department, raised just over £1,500 for our appeal. And he must have been pretty exhausted at the end of it all, because just to make things a bit more difficult for himself, he threw every single pot blindfolded. And this was the scene in the school hall, where the headmaster very kindly allowed the pot throw to take place. And some of the pupils who were sponsoring him lent a hand with humping fresh supplies of clay and shifting the pots away from the wheel as each one was made. Well, considering the conditions under which these were thrown, I think they've come out remarkably well, but it's not surprising that just a few of them look a bit lopsided. Brian averaged about 1 pot every minute, which isn't bad going, and I'm sure even a robot couldn't beat that kind of production line. And he's obviously got the taste for potting blindfolded, because he's come to the studio today together with 4 members of the school to demonstrate his technique. Hello everybody, welcome to Blue Peter.
Hello.
Brian, thank you so much for contributing to our appeal in such an unusual way as well. It really was an amazing achievement, I must say. Which do you think, during the whole 24 hours, was your lowest ebb?
Well, after about 11 hours, that's when it got really difficult.
Was there any particular reason for that?
Yes, because I hadn't drunk enough by that time.
I see. And Rachel, how did you organise all the backup teams?
Well, we just put a table on the wall and people filled in the times that they wanted to help. So some people helped for ages and ages and others just, say, for half an hour. And there are hundreds of people involved. It's just a question of, you know, how long they wanted to help for. So.
Yes, yeah, that's marvellous. Well, Brian, I think when I saw all the pots, I couldn't believe that they'd been done blindfolded, but I think it's only fair that we should be allowed to see you unmasked. So can we have the grand unmasking now, please? Ta-da! Well, of course, any expert like Brian is going to make this look very easy, but if you've tried pot throwing at home, you'll know that it isn't. And Brian has been giving us a few hints during the day, and now's your chance to see 3 absolute novices in action.
So, stand by to watch the clay fly. Can you give us any last-minute tips, Brian?
Well, just make certain that you end up with a piece of clay in the centre, you hang on tight,
right in the middle.
You're away.
Do we set this going now?
Yes, let's have that going about that speed.
Let's have the countdown.
All right.
Right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, now!
Oh, I missed the beat, sorry. No sense of rhythm.
You've got to get it bang in the middle.
wet.
Oops.
Right.
There, that's just about...
It's about taking off, isn't it?
Oh, I can't get...
And you have to keep that wet, do you, to start with? That's it. How's that? That's coming
Lovely,
along
you're
nicely.
well away.
I haven't got the centering right yet.
This clay
You're
feels
well away.
very
Hang on
tough.
tight and hold your elbows down on the side.
That's it, got it.
Elbows on the side.
There's tremendous power, isn't there, on these wheels? Keep it wet. What are you going to make, Peter?
Oh, you're well away here, Sarah.
my
Dig your thumb in a
15th ashtray of the day, this is.
Let go with this hand.
Yeah.
And hold this wrist.
How you doing,
All right.
Sarah?
There we are.
Not too bad, not too bad. I think I'm just about centred all
Bend
right.
these fingers a little bit more, and you're away now.
Obviously, if you don't get it on the centre, Brian, it just shoots off all over the place.
Well, it'll be another UFO, I expect.
Now, how's that?
Oh, dear.
More water.
You're doing all right there, Simon?
Lovely stuff to work with, isn't it?
Oh,
You
yeah,
can't
it's
beat
lovely.
getting your hands nice
Oh,
and lucky.
it's great.
Keep that thumb
isn't
over
it?
there, and you can...
Over there?
There we are. Okay.
It's kind of nice when it's a bit
Sorry,
off,
How about,
centre,
taking that,
isn't it?
how about
Yeah.
taking that one off now while it's still got some life in it and having another go?
What's the verdict so far then, Brian?
You're not impressed, eh?
What's your verdict with what we're doing?
Well, a little bit more and I think you'll be ready to try it blindfolded.
Well, many, many thanks, Brian. How about that? Let's just have a look. There we have one bowl. How have you done? We've all made bowls, so that's great. Many thanks to you and to everybody at Rodway School for everything you've done. And just in case you were wondering what's going to happen to all these pots, well, I do assure you not one single one is going to be wasted. The top 20 are going to be fired, and they're going to be sold to raise even more money for our
Yes.
appeal.
And as for the others, they're not going to be wasted. They're all going to be squidged up, put into that box there, and then we're going to be made some more made again. And we're going to do that straight after the show, aren't we?
That's right.
So who knows, all that clay just may end up as plates in another life. If you've been watching all our Morph items, you'll know how interested I am in the way that animated films are made. And back in the 1890s, some of the earliest movies were cartoons. And long before that, Victorians were enjoying cartoons that are just like the cartoon films of today. And I was delighted to discover that it's still possible to see one of those old shows at Little Venice, down on London's Regent's Canal. In Victorian times, early picture shows toured up and down the country. Nowadays, the tradition is kept alive by Doug and Anita Lear, who house their theatre on a brightly painted narrowboat. During the summer months, they travel round Britain's canals, but in winter the show remains in London. It's called Phantasmagoria and recreates the excitement of a Victorian magic lantern show, full of amazing visual effects and also odd surprises. Anybody at home? Good morning, sir.
Hello,
Hello.
Sarah. Would you like to come in?
I'd love to.
There we go.
The magic lantern was the forerunner of the modern slide projector, but instead of photographs, it uses large hand-painted glass slides. Doug runs the show, and his wife, Anita, works the projectors. Nice to
Sarah.
meet you. It's absolutely beautiful. I don't know how you manage to fit so much equipment in such a small space.
Well, it's small, but it's all original, all authentic Magic Lantern equipment.
Why is it called the magic lantern?
Well, to them it was magic. It was movies before cinema. Because all the lantern slides are moving pictures, in most cases now shows. And to them, at the time, the Victorian audiences just said it was magic. It still is. It's really, I suppose, the grandfather of television and the father of cinema.
And who were the first people who went to these shows originally?
All kinds of people, all types of people were entertained by showmen, and the tradition of travelling showmen is quite long in this country, as I say, from 1800 onwards. But the first written accounts of the lantern were in 1646.
As early as that?
Oh yes, it's a fabulous history.
How do you and Anita perform the shows?
We work it strictly that Anita is the top lantern. You know, she's the best lanternist. I work the musical effects and I supplement her with complicated things like snow falling and rainbows and lightning flashes. I'm doing all the special effects while Anita is manipulating the main lantern, which is this one, the triunial.
The triunial is really 3 slide projectors stacked on top of each other and designed so that all the pictures line up in exactly the same place on the screen. That means they can show a continuous series of pictures which, by mixing one to the other, seem to move. The theatre is also something of a museum, which houses 25 magic lanterns and accessories such as limelight projectors, which were used to produce big, bright pictures to show to hundreds of people in the days before electricity was available. One of their prized possessions is this lantern, owned and used by Captain Scott of the Antarctic. Anita, can I have a look at some of the slides?
Well, they're all very brilliantly hand-painted by people who used to specialise in just miniature paintings, so they're really good and beautiful bright colours. And then, of course, they've all got mechanisms, like this one is basically a lever slide. And you've got rack quirks, which are evolving images. Then you have slippers. Sometimes they're double slippers, sometimes they're triple slippers, which all make that extra animation. Then on top of that, many of them have little gears inside, which give you the illusion of a cam mechanism.
They're housed inside that box, are they?
That's right. And when you wind the handle here, the waves give you that lovely rolling motion.
The audience for the show sit in these seats at one end of the narrowboat, whilst at the other end of the boat, Doug creates the sound effects and plays the music on his vintage harmonium. At last it was time for the show to start. I couldn't wait to see the effects that could be created in the kind of magic lantern show that might have thrilled my great-grandmother.
Well, if you'd like to sit down, Sarah, we will begin.
Right.
Okay?
It was incredible to think that all these slides had been meticulously hand-painted more than 100 years ago, and that scenes created from still pictures could be so dramatic. And like every good Victorian story, I was glad to see The Storm at Sea had a happy ending. But the Victorians also had a sense of humour, as I found out when Anita let me operate the projector. Some of the slides could have come straight out of Monty Python, especially one which showed a man asleep in bed. Every time he snored, he swallowed a rat.
Hello, Sarah. Are you enjoying the show?
The era of the magic lantern was brought to a dramatic end when the first real film was shown on the 10th of June, 1895. Doug and Anita project this historic footage during their show, and although it lasts only a few seconds, you can see why the moving pictures of a train arriving at a station caused such a stir when it was seen in public for the first time. It's said that people in the audience were so afraid the train would come out of the screen and into the theatre that they ran outside. Nowadays, we're used to seeing films and watching television, and the magic lantern is a thing of the past. But it's good to think that down in Little Venice, the art, science and magic of the lantern is lovingly recaptured at every performance, and that no modern electronic wizardry can better the highlight of their show, the beautiful chromatropes.
Those are beautiful colours, aren't they? Just like modern day pictures that you get on something like Top of the Pops. Well, there's one question that we get asked more than any other on Blue Peter, and that's how can I get a Blue Peter badge? Well, the answer is they're not giveaways, they have to be won, and there's a variety of different ways in which you can get one. You could send us a good idea for the programme, write us an interesting letter, or do something really outstanding. Well, in 1975, 9-year-old Nigel Short won his Blue Peter badge for being outstanding and quite brilliant at chess. He was the highest graded player in Britain and of his age, and he was also one of the top 9-year-old chess players in the world. We're very proud to say that Blue Peter badge winner Nigel Short has gone from strength to strength. And in fact, only last Wednesday, viewers of Master Game, millions of people watched him win this trophy, along with a cheque for £2,500, when at the still tender age of 15, he beat no less than 2 Grandmasters, including Britain's Tony Miles, to become the youngest ever Master Game champion. Here's what happened at the end of his dramatic 6-hour game. Nigel is playing white and just about to make his crucial move.
Yeah, well, I've got a little trick now. I don't really need it, though. Maybe I can just play e8. When he plays knight takes queen, then I can play rook takes e8. And if he plays rook takes e8, knight f6 check, and I take his rook on e8. Then I just win the endgame easily. Yeah, so e8 equals queen.
Yes. It's not very easy to emerge even just 2 pieces down from this position. Well, random move. A4 check.
Surely that's desperation. Well, I can take that pawn a4 with my queen. Well, queen takes a4.
Yeah, he noticed that. Oh well, good night from me. Yes, congratulations. Please don't make a habit of it, though. That's a bad idea, defending the French against you.
Well, maybe you should have stuck to drinking milk instead of water.
Well, that's another good variation, of course. Yeah. I didn't think I needed it. No, I should exchange some pieces earlier. I didn't want to draw.
A brilliant young man and a brilliant achievement, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of that £2,500 wasn't spent on an amplifier or two, because the other great hobby of Britain's newest chess champion is his rock group. Here he is with his friends Chris and Stuart, otherwise known as The Urge.
1, 2, 3, 4. I had to let you go when you said you wanted me forever. You wanted me all of the time, but it didn't make things better. The pressure of your love got to me, so I couldn't carry on.
Thank you very much, The Urge. That certainly rocks along. Stuart, what was that called?
It's called Burning Up.
Burning Up. Chris, was that one of your own compositions?
Yeah, we write most of our own stuff.
Nearly all your own songs. Now then, Nigel, what about this and playing bass guitar? How long have you been at this caper?
2.5 weeks.
Well, I mean, that's tremendous. What can I say? And is this going to become a regular thing?
Well, with a bit of luck, yes.
I mean, are you going to be taking over from Paul McCartney? Like you might be taking over from Bobby Fischer in chess in a few years to come?
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, there's a possibility of that.
Actually, what is it that appeals to you about rock music compared with chess?
It's the action, and I like going deaf.
And of course, chess is very intense, isn't it? And I suppose you can let your hair down a bit when you're playing bass guitar in a rock group.
Well, no, it's more the other way round, really.
Is it really? Well, that's surprising. Yeah. We're going to leave rock now, anyway, if you two don't mind, because we've got a chessboard set over here. So relieve yourself of your guitar, because not only do we have a chessboard, but we've got one of these chess computers. Well, what do you think about these, Nigel?
Well, I think they're pretty good for the beginner and the average player, but for good players, they're really not.
I mean, have you used one?
Well, I've sort of practiced with them, you know, just seeing how good they are.
Right, so if you're a beginner, they are a bit of a help, certainly.
Oh, yes.
Now, going back to when you began, how old were you?
I was 5 when I first learned the moves, because I was watching my my dad, and he was playing my older brother Martin, and I asked if I could have a game.
And it all started from that.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a young player who's just starting?
I'd say playing is quite definitely the most important thing, and preferably against people who are sort of slightly better than yourself.
So practice makes perfect, really, rather than reading a lot of books. It's best to keep playing.
Well, that's important as well, but I think practice is more important.
Right. We saw you beating Tony Miles. That must have been very satisfying. What other wins have given you tremendous satisfaction?
Well, there was... I won a few games in the Hastings tournament last year, and a couple of years ago came, well, as I like to say, joined first in the British Championship.
Right. You're not too sure about your musical ambitions. Any ambitions in chess?
I'd like to be a grandmaster as soon as possible.
Well, I have every confidence that you will be one day. Now, apart from being a grandmaster, how about today pitting your wits against this computer that we've got here in the studio?
Yeah, fine.
You're willing to have a go? Great. Well, as Tony Miles is in Russia, we asked an international master, Bill Hartson, to pose some problems. This has been fed into the computer over here. Just to make sure that Nigel can't see it, I'm going to twist it round to there and switch it on. That's the situation. Nigel's chess pieces are set out. The positions are all there, apart from the 2 key pieces and then the 2 kings. The black king, which goes in there, and the white king, which I'm going to put in a minute. The situation is that it's white to play, and white has to checkmate the black king there. So as soon as I put this last piece in, I'm going to press the computer, and then it's Nigel Short against the computer. Now, off you go.
Here. Checkmate.
Well, that, I would think, I didn't have a stopwatch, took all of about 8-9 seconds. I've never seen anything like it, quite phenomenal. I don't think the computer's even, well, it has just about got going. It's trying to make its mind up. While it's making its mind up, have you got anything up and coming in the chess world? Any more tournaments that you're going to be taking part in, Nigel?
There's nothing in the immediate future, but I'm hoping to play in the World Junior in Mexico later this year.
Right, well, I have something which you thoroughly deserved and which I'm sure will speed you to even more victories. It's our highest award. It's a gold Blue Peter badge. We don't give many of these out to people. It's quite difficult to earn these, so many congratulations to you. You've thoroughly deserved that. Yeah, there you are, and I hope that brings you more success. The computer has finally made it. Has it got there?
Yeah, it's just played this one. It's fine.
Well, I've always had more faith in humans than computers, and I'm just delighted to see you beat it, and so quickly as well. Very well done. All the best to you, and thanks for joining us, and good luck to The Urge as well. Well, we're now going to see a visitor who always gives us tremendous pleasure when she comes to the Blue Peter studio. And she created history by appearing on the programme before she was born, thanks, of course, to the ultra-scan pictures that we were able to show you. She's, of course, our dear friend, Gemma Victoria Cook.
Who is now 6.5 months old and my favourite girlfriend, aren't you? No reaction. And this is her favourite toy. It's a baby bouncer, which is a thing that her little legs go through on a piece of rubber, and she bounces up and down like Super Baby. Yeah. I should think at 6.5 months old, she probably thinks this is her version of a Big Dipper.
I bet she does. And it's lovely to see her mum again too, Tina.
Thanks, Sarah. It's lovely to be back.
Gemma has changed practically beyond all recognition. I mean, she's still just as stunningly beautiful, but I think there have been lots of developments, haven't there?
It's extraordinary. I sound very much like my own mum because every day she changes. She's growing up so fast. Lots of things have happened since you last saw her. She's grown 2 teeth on the bottom row, and she's now eating solid food and juice and all sorts. What else does she do? Oh, she's very fond of reading the Radio Times.
Reading the Radio Times?
Yes. It gets shredded after she's finished, but she has a good look through first.
There's a danger of a little cry coming on here, I'm not sure.
Well, you see, nothing really replaces playing with human beings. These things are great for a while, but this game, which is with me, she really does enjoy a lot.
Okay.
Whee!
There she is. Now going to see
Tina
and Gemma in action.
Hello. No time for if anybody was under the impression that being a mum means sort of sitting with your feet up at home watching Blue Peter, don't you believe it? Right, what are we going to do here? Now, let's see. This one's quite a good one. Or how about boo? Boo. Boo.
That's wonderful. I don't know who's having more fun, Tina or Gemma. Hello. How are you down there? Nice to see you again. And looking so well. Now then, do you think she'd like her Radio Times now or after tea?
I think perhaps we'd better leave it till after tea, because that sort of slight little cry earlier on does mean that she's a little bit hungry.
What's she going to have for tea, Tina?
Well, today I thought I'd give her banana, because it really is her favourite banana, although she can have anything, really, that we eat. No, as long as it hasn't got salt in, that's not really very good for them. Right, Gem Bean, here it comes.
Indians.
Well, tea time, really.
Oh, tea time.
I'm not very good at doing it left-handed. There we go.
She always waves her foot in the air when she eats.
Yes, she's excited. No, that's extraordinary. That is quite extraordinary.
Not all the time.
I do that.
Do you?
Yes, I've always done that.
Yes,
When
I
I'm really
remember.
enjoying something.
It's hereditary.
Like mother, like daughter.
Yes,
obviously.
well, it drives my mother mad. I still do it now.
There she goes again, look.
Sorry, Pete.
Have you taken her swimming yet?
I haven't, and you know what? That is the next thing on the agenda, actually. So I'll let you know the progress when it happens.
I'll come and be lifeguard.
Many thanks for joining us, Tina and Gemma as well. Lovely to see you both looking so well. Of course, I'll be seeing you when we go on the maiden voyage of the St Christopher. That's next month. So
I look forward to that.
See you then.
Okay.
We'll be back on Thursday, and we'll have a monster that is so long I don't think we'll even be able to get it in the studio, but we'll have a go.
Yeah. See you on Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, tomorrow afternoon we continue the adventure serial about the children of Fire Mountain. This week, Sarah Jane is initiated into Tom's gang. To prove her bravery, she visits the old Maori village at the dead of night. That's tomorrow at 5:10. Back now to today.